Their 2 victories back in 2021 gave them that automatic spot here in the round of 16. So they'll get their first taste of soccer action in this tournament. And they have to do it against maybe the toughest team in the entire tournament. We'll step aside for a moment. We'll be back on the other side.
Damas y caballeros, le pedimos ponerse de pie para escuchar el himno nacional de los Estados Unidos. A continuación, el himno nacional de Curaçao.
A couple more transactions to go underway before we get things started here in the first match on this venue in the Concacaf Women's U17 Championship. Again, the United States up against Curaçao. My name is Mark Schoenster. Excited to be on the mic for you for this one. Win in advance, lose, you go home. But either way, a proud moment for both of these countries as they get to represent their nations and compete in the beautiful game. You always got to savor any chance you get. For the U.S., of course, they've got some business to attend to, looking for their 3rd straight title. This is a unit that has proven to be untouchable so far, but that could change at any given moment with the right mixture of chaos, an underdog mentality from the opposing side. So Natalia Astrain will be looking for that same clinical idea from all of her players in this one. And meanwhile, between the two teams, the officiating crew today, as you get a look at all of their names. They'll look to make sure that things don't get out of hand as this match goes on. You never want things to get too violent on the pitch. You represent your country, though. Things can be rather intense, so you can't blame the players for that. You got to hope that the refs can keep it intact. As we look at Curaçao's starting lineup, a lot of these players got time with the regular women's national team in the Concacaf World Cup qualifiers, so they'll be looking to them for the experience of playing older, mature players, both as teammates and as opponents. And that includes Jelani Thanatant, who is between the pipes for Curaçao. So both teams will prepare, get themselves ready to get things started here. And we'll also give you updates throughout on the other matchup. Mexico, of course, one of the biggest aggressors to the U.S. in their quest for another title in this tournament. Mexico and Canada both always were the adversaries. So we'll see how they do in their matchup against Guyana. Make sure everything is intact and ready to go here at the Estadio Panamericano. The U.S. donning their red and blue unis. Meanwhile, Curaçao will be in white with the blue trims. Their hands are full today with their opposition ahead of them. A bit of a rude welcome into this tournament, their first ever appearance. Now we wait for Suleymi Linares to blow the whistle and get things going here. U.S. going left to right, meanwhile, Curaçao from right to left. All systems a go, and we are underway between the United States and Curaçao in the round of 16. Who will advance on to the next round? Let's find out for these next 90 minutes or so. As the U.S. will be the first to push forward. Good combination play, slipping right through. Two players jockeying for the ball. Squares into the middle, and it scuffles about. It's still around, and it goes through for an opening goal. Don't blink. The U.S. have already scored under 30 seconds into this game. In this moment, it was a game of who would score. A ton of the U.S. players all around. And I think the last person to get on a touch was Kjorpes. Nico Kjorpes getting her third goal of the season, it looks like. We'll see who they attribute it to, but it looked like she was the one who got the last touch on it. We'll get that confirmed for you once we know for certain. 4 different players had a chance to score there. It was a bit chaotic as things went along. But a dangerous pass slipping through. And that was all it needed. So 1-0 up to the U.S. No games, no fooling around on their side of things. So Curaçao, a rude welcome, that's for certain, to this U17 championship. There's the service inside, still bouncing around. And it'll be knocked out of play for a corner kick. That's our first look at Abigail Gundry, the goalkeeper for the United States. Cross comes floating in. And it's headed near goal, but not towards it. But able to get a head on it is Curaçao. It was Andrea who was on the connecting end of that. So 79 to 78 degrees right now in San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic, which is where this tournament is being hosted. So corner for the U.S. They'll take it short. Cross comes zipping in. And it's shinned away and cleared up the pitch. An inspired push there from Curaçao, but composed did defending were the U.S. Now coming down the other way once again. Already have one goal in this game. A sliding challenge will send that out for another U.S. corner. Another set piece chance for the United States. Martinho will be the one to get behind the ball and look to serve something up. Unless they go short again like they did last time, and that is what they'll do. Ball comes rolling in, and the pinged effort will stray wide of goal. That was Harvey, the one who got the last touch on that one. So I mentioned it earlier, there was a bit of a pre-tournament, a sort of qualifying effort for many of the teams in Concacaf in 2021. It was held in Bradenton, Florida. Curaçao was one of those teams. And there were 3 groups, and the winner of each group would advance along with the best second place member out of all of them. But Curaçao didn't have to worry about that. They won their group, knocking off Belize and Barbados. And qualifying for, again, their first ever appearance in this U17 tournament. So already an honor for Curaçao to be present, and now they'll look to do their nation proud with a valiant effort against the U.S. Here come the United States once again. It's Gamero dashing forward, weaving through defenders, squaring it across the middle, and a little bit of razzle-dazzle on top of it. It's a second goal for the United States. Showing off some footwork there, right in front of the mouth of goal. Yeah, we need another look at this one. Gamero goes forward, and who doesn't love a little bit of back heel action? Twirl it around, put it home. It's already a brace for Curaçao. That one, I can guarantee you, will go into her as a score. I'll even check the other one. They're not going to give her the first goal. It looks like Gamero was actually awarded the first of the 2 goals, so it'll be 1 for Curaçao, but I thought the first one went to her. But she wasn't off the score sheet for very long, so a goal and an assist for Gamero to start things off in this one. Another threading ball forward. The U.S. on the prowl once again. And this one squared to the middle. And will end up being collected by Julani Fanatin. Take a look at the head coach of the U.S., Astrain. There's, of course, the expectation in any game the U.S. come into. Coming all the way from the senior team down to this U17 program, the expectation going into every single game is that they're going to win. So in games like this, where you attain an early lead, already got 2 goals to your name before 10 minutes have transpired. There's a slipping ball through. Fanatin will fall on top of it. The big thing is to maintain your quality of play throughout, because it could get tempting to try just outmuscle your opponent after you get a gauge on the level of talent that you're opposing and the level of confidence that your opposition has. But you really want to play the same way no matter who you're up against, so then you're familiar with the proper style, so then when you go up against the Mexico, when you go up against the Canada, you'll still be familiar with a sharp way of playing, because you won't be able to get away with foolishness or some silly play against those higher quality clubs. They'll punish you for it. So I think that'll be the focus for the U.S. throughout this one, is to maintain the quality of play and not to rely on just individual talents. And on the Curaçao side of things, this being my first ever appearance, their goal is to show up and mean business for 90 minutes. And there's Reynold Mercera. Head coach for Curaçao. There'll be moments like this that they can hang their hat on and be proud of, where they take a challenge and they take it head on. And if they can create some chances, if they can score a goal, be the first team to do that against the United States in this tournament, this year at least. I'm sure that'll be something to hang their hat on. Worth noting in the other game, a mirrored scoreline. Mexico with already 2 goals against Guyana. Another one of those teams that have been added in this round. As we've got some open play here for the U.S. Slipping through, tapping it in. Easy does it. And Rembibas is on the board. 3 for the U.S. Great long ball forward. And a nice, easily squared ball. Hjorpes, cool and composed. Sends it in the middle, doesn't take the shot herself. Knows that she's got someone there who has a better angle, a better look on goal. So in just over 11 minutes of action, the United States have 3 goals. They'll be looking to surpass the number they had in their last game. If I remember correctly, it was a 5-goal result. Of course, against a tough Costa Rica team. $5-0 was the final result in that one, just to confirm with you. Played in Group G to get to this round, the United States. We saw in the open 38 goals, conceded 0. 3 clean sheets. They'll look to make it 4 here today. And then, of course, although sitting on the bench, Amalia Villarreal leading the tournament with 7 goals scored in just 3 fixtures. Not to be outdone by Claire Hutton, who has 6 and is also sitting on the bench. So it's just a bit of a race between those two and their teammates. Just goes to show you how dominant they were in those opening rounds. And they want to continue that kind of form coming into the knockout round. Want to be in peak shape as these matches get more and more difficult. And with knockout soccer, anything can happen. So you always want to be at your sharpest. Here's a threading ball through. Another squared shot towards goal, gets punched away by Fanatin. Not have hit the wrist as comfortably as desired for Jelani Fanatin. She knocked that one out of play. Shot from pretty close range. It was a tight angle, though. So to start things off in this game. 3 goals for the U.S. 1 from Gamero, 1 from Kyorpes, and 1 from Rambimbas. As they take this moment to check up on Fanatin. It's a good chance for both coaches to exchange some words with their team. Words of encouragement for Curaçao. Tactical instruction for the U.S.
Are you talking to me? She continue? Okay.
So some tentative listening from both sides as their coaches give them their say, their piece, while they have the chance to. As I mentioned earlier, tournament being held in the Dominican Republic. As this corner kick will be played short once again. Seems to be the MO for the U.S. today. Cross a little bit too low. It's headed down. And almost won back immediately by Gamero. And then a foul in the United States will give a free kick to Curaçao. On Alexandra. At least the victim of the foul, that is. Nothing will come of that bouncing ball. Go straight back to the United States. Tournament being held in the Dominican Republic. Of course, there's the bragging rights of winning the tournament that are up at stakes. Want the chance to prove yourself and win the competition, but also on top of that, if you place first, second, or third, then you will qualify for the FIFA U17 World Cup later this year. So definitely something to play for either way. Even if you don't end up being the champion, you could still go home with a prize, which is that of another trip. Another chance to compete. And that floating ball will just bounce around in the grass as it entered the 18 and went out. Throw-in comes in, and another foul, another dead ball for Curaçao. That's an interesting aspect to this one, and to this tournament in general, are these teams that are being introduced into the round of 16. It was 16 teams in the group stage. One from each group did not advance. And then these teams who have to come in entirely cold for the knockout round. You look at it two ways. You could look at it as an advantage because maybe you're a little less worn out. Don't have as many knocks around. These are all young players, so I think they've got the energy for it. So I would lean more on the disadvantage side of it, which is you haven't played 3 games in the competition, so you have to come in and get acclimated very quickly. The U.S. already have 3 games under their belt as a unit on this trip. The ball sputters around a couple of times. The United States win it back. Another nice slipping ball through. Trying to square into the middle. The keeper doesn't get her hands on it. And the flag is going to come up, though. The offside flag will keep the U.S. from scoring a 4th goal. You see there, yep. Yeah, 2 different players that were offside, including the would-be goal scorer, Rabimbas. Not the best of free kicks there. Gives it right back to the United States. It's clipped off the toe correctly. An unfortunate circumstance there. And that'll be the other aspect to this. It's a pretty hot day. Encroaching upon 80 degrees. That hoofed pass will fall into the arms of Fanatin. You always got to monitor exhaustion throughout this one on both sides. The unfortunate thing for Curaçao is the U.S. has got a wealth of players sitting on the bench that are just as lethal as the ones that are out there right now. When you look at some of the leaders in this competition coming into this game and coming into this round, and you've got Villarreal leading in goals, Hutton, who is just second with 6, tied for second, that is. Villarreal leading the tournament in shots. Taylor Suarez also sitting on the bench, leading in assists. So it's just a team chock full of statistical frontrunners who headline this tournament in their own regard, but there's about 6 or 7 of them, plus other players on this team that have proven to be more than formidable for this affair. As that corner kick gets deflected and falls into the arms of Fanatin. That ball may have come off the stomach. Yep, and it was Constancia, the one who suffered the deflection of the ball. And it's slow to get up, Kaisha Constancia. Members of the back line today for Curaçao. That's the big thing. Of course, you want to play the game, but you also got to make sure that every player is all right to play or is fit to continue on, or if they need to get subbed out, need to get checked on.
Ready? Let's go. Let's go. Wait.
So that's worth noting yet. These players aren't yet professionals, so we want to prioritize to make sure that safety is of utmost importance for these officials. That ball got lodged into the gates and the fencing. Seemed like I had a little trouble getting out. That was wedged in there nice and good. Not too often you see that with a soccer ball on game day. The most typical occurrence is when the basketball gets stuck between the backboard and the back iron. But you see something new every day, that's for certain. If you're unfamiliar with the way the tournament format is this year around, if you've been following in years past, that'd be because it is different. It has been changed. And it's also been a hot minute since this tournament's been held, because in 2020 the competition was canceled due to COVID-19, of course. And with that in mind, all previous iterations of this U17 tournament, it was an 8-team event with just 2 groups. Now we've had 20 different clubs involved in this tournament, 16 in the group stage and then 16 again in the knockout round. think that's a good thing. Get more teams in on it. The more the merrier. As Gamero makes her way down the pitch. Squares it across the middle. Still could be recollected. And it's back outside of the 18. Poked around a couple of times. It's back at Gamero's feet before she plays it centrally for Harvey. Harvey swings it across the middle. And it'll be knocked away. Only temporary reprieve for Curaçao. And the flag will come up. And that'll be the end of that opportunity for the United States. Another update. Mexico have scored a third goal. So it's 3-0 in both of these opening games in the round of 16. Here's a long shot. It goes over the arms and into the back of the net. Fanatic got her hands on it, but there was too much heat firing behind that shot. It's 4-0 for the U.S. A blazing effort outside the 18. And it proved too strong. And there it is, packing a punch on that shot. Lauren Martino winds up and decides to let it fly. It's her third goal of the tournament, her first of the day. I'm talking about just having an impressive shot on you. That just adds another threat to the game if you could feel confident in just letting it fly. So a 4-0 scoreline right after I said that Mexico had matched the U.S. in that regard. And it's a goal from 4 different players. And they'll be looking for another here as play goes on. A nice tipping pass in the middle. Martino winding about, plays it back. Ample time to make a decision, and so they'll knock it around a couple times. Here's a chance to play it towards goal, and it's off the mark. Bimbas was looking for a brace and couldn't put it on frame. A couple of players worse for wear for Curaçao. A third of the way through this one. So far, it's been a ruthless welcome to the tournament from the United States, whom know all too well how to find success in this tournament, having won the last 2, both of which against Mexico. Which makes it all the more interesting that they're both playing at the same time, always duking it out for that title. It was a 3-2 win in 2018 and a 2-1 win in 2016 in the finals. Both, of course, in favor of the United States. And then Mexico was supposed to host in 2020 before everything got shut down. But the interesting thing is that given the fact this is a U17 tournament, every single year, every single time that this tournament is held, it's a brand new chance for every country to leave their mark. It's going to be an entirely different assembly of players. It's Dorchas who is down on the stretcher. couple instances of that being the case here today. And that's something you got to be careful about. I've already brought it up once. You come in completely fresh, which is good in one sense, but also you're coming in cold as far as this tournament's concerned. And there's a level of physicality that comes with playing for your national team. And then there's another layer when you add in that it's knockout soccer. And you're going against a team that has already asserted itself in 3 separate matches. And it's definitely a tough deal in that regard for Curaçao. Animated conversations there between Reynold Mercera and his players on the pitch, including one very animated, Queen Jelly Alexandra. She plays for SV Vesta, right in Curaçao. That's what you would expect from most of these players. Of course, there's a given exception or two for those who decide to go and play abroad. Meanwhile, on the United States side of things, every single player on the roster plays domestically, but in the case of the U.S., that's not necessarily a convenience thing either. Sometimes the best program is the one right next door. The United States, of course, all too familiar with finding success in the women's game. So their programs are of elite caliber in the world. We may be getting a keeper substitution here, along with Dorchas getting stretchered off. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Wish nothing but the best for her. Continuing to talk about this tournament and the pedigree the U.S. have, only 3 different countries have won the tournament. And it's 3 that you would anticipate: the United States, Mexico, and Canada. This tournament only been around since 2008, though, so 6 editions, and the United States has won 4 of them. So have definitely been the standard in the tournament. But they're undefeated in the finals. They lost both of those 2 other tournaments in the semis and end up winning the 3rd place game. So never been one to run up or be the runner-up. So we are going to get 2 substitutions prepared here. It looks like Shanika Ilaria will have to come in for Fanatin as well, in between the sticks. It's been a tough start to this one for Curaçao. So Fanatin will come out. Dorchas will also come out. And coming in her stead is Auka Merdic. So 2 substitutions in the first half for Curaçao. An early exit for two of their players. I'm sure frustrated that they have to leave the game so early. They put in a good 30 minutes of action. And when it's up against such a formidable side, sometimes that stuff happens. And the U.S. still continue to be on the prowl here. Continue to attack as this shot's rocketed from well outside the 18. Holy smokes. A rifling effort puts the U.S. up 5-0. That shot had tons of pace on it. It's from the captain, Nia Buda. Taken from a similar spot as her counterpart who scored moments ago. It's her first goal of the tournament, so congratulations to her. Buda playing at Internationals SC for her club ball. And in the honor of wearing the captain's armband here today. So the United States won 5-0 against Costa Rica in their last fixture and now have a 5-0 lead in the first half, and this one against Curaçao. As we get some spillage, that'll give it back to the United States in the back line. They'll go all the way back to their keeper, Abigail Gundry, who has been isolated since those first few moments in the game. Curaçao had a couple of chances moving forward, but since then, the United States have dictated the pace of this game and have kept the foot on the throat as another goal goes through. Onyeka Gamero tucks a second one home. It is 6-0 to the United States. And it only takes a moment. A nice slipping pass through. You see here the service provided by Shea Harvey. And a tidy finish from Gamero. Cool, confident. And that's what you want. Onyeka Gamero. Want to go down the who plays where, plays at Beach FC for her club ball. As we see now the substitutions coming in play. If you want an update on what's going on over in the other arena, Mexico are up 5-0 to Guyana. So both Concacaf powerhouses looking to move on to the quarterfinals. Have the ambitions to do so, and so far so good for both sides. Another set piece chance here for Curaçao. That one having too much air underneath it. Petronelia providing the service. A little too much juice on that occasion. That's a lovely weighted ball going forward. But well stood up to the challenge there was Andrea. Charnay Nelly's Andrea Also plays at SV Vesta, along with some of her teammates. Stood up firmly there to take on the brunt of that one. But the United States won't let a waste opportunity simmer for too long as that cross goes straight across. And then a touch will let it roll out for a goal kick. Well, it was the fastest goal of the tournament in the 4th minute from Amalia Villarreal against Costa Rica, only for that to be bested here today. Scored in the 1st minute. Onyeka Gamera was on the assisting end of that goal against Costa Rica and was on the scoring end of what was a scrambling effort to score in the first 30 seconds of the match today against Curaçao. And that's what got things started. And since then, it's been a goal party for the U.S. And Gamero, Hjorpes, Abimbas, Martinho, and Buda have all scored. Gamero with a brace. More seconds, and then whatever added time. We did have a couple stoppages, but there's the weighted of worthwhile stoppage versus getting these players a break, which you have to think is the first and utmost priority. That's what led to the stoppages in the first place. It wasn't like there were fights breaking out or anything. And there will be no added time. After 45 minutes, it started from the whistle and nearly went all the way to the whistle's end. Goals aplenty for the United States. It's a 6-0 scoreline in the first half of this knockout match between the U.S. and Curaçao. We'll step aside for a moment. We'll take a look at highlights here in a couple minutes.
See when you come out, try to come out as quick as you can. What I want you to do some gradual builds. So building, so you get into a bit of top end speed. Gradual builds just longer when you get out, so that will build up. Sorry.
Well, let's take a look at the first highlights from the first half. And before you could even say Concacaf, the United States were on the board under 30 seconds into the game. A couple players scuffed at it, and it ended up being Onyeka Gamero who would tuck it away home. Right there, it was her touch, scrambled about, found its way through. It was just one quick slipping pass, and they came flying in at high speed like a blur. And it was a tough start to Curaçao in that regard. Just came crashing in, and then it kept on coming. As that may be the flashiest of the goals scored. There may be one other competitor, but still, the twirl around from Curaçao, just absolutely sensational to make it 2-0 in the first 7 minutes of the game. And then on the facilitating end of it was Curaçao as she squared it into the middle for a goal to Melina Rembimbas. And all is good in the first 11, 12 minutes of the game to make it 3-0 to the United States. And then we started getting some range on these goals. A powerful effort that rips through the keeper and goes through for a goal. Lauren Martino deciding to take matters into her own hands and saying, I'm gonna just let this one rip. And boy, did she. 4-0 to the United States. And as the game went on, then we got another rocket, not to be outdone. It was Mia Buda, the captain, who said, well, if Martino could do it, maybe I'll give it a try. And hers with a ton of precision. Didn't even meet a glove on this occasion, just tucks it into the back right corner. Just an excellent showcase from the United States in the first 45 minutes. And they weren't done just yet. Gamero got things started, and then she capped off what was a successful first 45 minutes, to say the least, for the U.S. Just dashing down and tucking it home. 6-0 after 45 minutes for the United States, who look to advance on to the quarterfinals with how their performance has been so far in this affair against Curaçao. Here's a look at the halftime stats. Well, they haven't wasted too many shots, the U.S. 11 shots, 9 of them on target, 6 of them going through. And dominating possession, just been dictating the pace of this game through and through. Curaçao, their first ever appearance in this tournament. And I don't know about you, but if I had to pick a team I wanted to play against in my first appearance, it would not be the United States. So tough sledding on their part of things, but still a historical day for them either way.
I went from maybe I can to I know I will. From isn't she cute to fight. Coaches who seem stuck on we can now say we did. From women's football to every 90 minutes, I'm reminded we belong.
As we return here for the second half between Curaçao and the United States, 6-0 after first 45 minutes of action.
You've got less than 30 seconds,
So 2 interesting blurbs to talk about, both courtesy of the United States' youth national team Twitter. First off, 14 different goal scorers in this tournament for the United States, which is breaking a record, so fantastic in that regard for the United States. And then the second thing, that is, my eyes did not deceive me on that opening goal. Nico Kyorpes scoring that goal to start things off of the game. That's who I thought got the goal. They ended up giving it to Gamero to start things, but it has now been officially accredited to Kyorpes. So sometimes that commentator's eye is just a little bit sharper. And we're underway here for the second half of action in this round of 16 matchup between Curaçao and the United States. It's the fastest goal scored in this year's Concacaf Women's U17 Championship. 23 seconds in. So we do have one substitution for the United States. Get that to you when we've got it.
Definitely.
14 different goal scorers in this Concacaf U17 campaign for the United States. That ties the U.S. record for a U17 qualifying tournament, which is what this also is stationed as. It's both a Concacaf tournament and also a qualifying tournament for the FIFA U17 World Cup. Needless to say, the love is being shared in this unit. So the substitution, got to hear from you now. In case 6 goals wasn't enough for the U.S., they've brought in Amalia Villarreal. And there she is with her first chance on the ball. And she's coming in for Melina Rabimbas. Amalia Villarreal, excuse me. Already has 7 goals this season in the competition. Just 3 games to show for it. You would think that with 7 goals in your tally that you were playing a whole table. That has just been the level of play that the United States has been able to bring to the pitch this Concacaf U17 tournament. Worth noting, Mexico have already scored coming into the second half, making it 7-0 against Guyana. Here's Villarreal winding around. Tries to roll it across the center. Not sure if that was a pass or was an attempt on goal. But either way, Villarreal was up for it. And it's given right back. Villarreal squares it to the left-hand side. Going back across the middle, couldn't connect with Gamero. And here's another take that will hover over goal and will go out for a goal kick. Here's Gamero again. Winding around, plays it back. That's an excellent step. Now here's a shooting effort that goes just a little wide. Savannah King, the one letting it fly. Defender looking to see if she could get in on the goal-scoring party. Hasn't scored a goal yet in this campaign, but that doesn't stop you from scoring in any of these games. That's like we've been talking about. Every one of these players has proven they're capable of finding the back of the net. As a matter of fact, if you look at the 11 players on the pitch right now for the United States, only 3 players who are on the pitch right now have not scored a goal in this campaign. And surely enough, 2 defenders and 1 goalkeeper. So it's not like necessarily they're not doing their job. It's just not their position to score. Just a fascinating stat line. Again, they played 3 games. I guess now 3.5. Once again, happy to be on the call for this one. My name is Mark Schoenster. It's the round of 16 in the Concacaf Women's U17 Championship. If you're just tuning in, this game taking place in San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic. Still in the upper 70s, just like a kickoff. So, pretty warm affair. The United States have made it to the semifinal of every single one of these tournaments since its inception in 2008. And as the scoreline stands, well on their way to punch their ticket to a quarterfinal appearance. Gamero still on her feet, plays it in the middle. It goes by 1 player, and the deflected effort from Villarreal warrants a save from Ilaria, and she is up for the challenge. Goes through the legs of Harvey. But if there's anyone to pick up the pieces behind you on this team, I guess you can't complain if Amalia Villarreal's the one behind you. Nothing to come of that corner kick. The U.S. will retain possession, though. Here's a shot from distance. It's not on target this time for Puda. But I think you allow her to take that shot, having already proved she could score from range in this game already. On the other hand, though, if you're Natalia Astrain, perhaps you want your team to continue to build up and score goals through combinations. There's Villarreal, taps into the center. Look to send it back to her. but the pass is a little too far ahead. As I was saying, I mentioned it in the first half that you don't want to get to a point where you're just trying to out-talent your opponent. You want to continue to build up play, and looks like we've just gotten a penalty awarded. Let's take a look at the replay here and see how the challenge went. Yeah, no contact with the ball. Kjorpes goes down. And indignant, Reynold Mercera awards the penalty to the United States. Looking to score their first goal of the half. We'll see who decides to take it. Looks like they're going to allow Kjorpes to step behind this ball. So she has 2 goals on the day. This could make it a hat trick for her. Nicolette Kjorpes, or Nico for short, can make it 3 goals on the day. Looking for that hat trick. And she's got it. Tidy placement, puts it away. 7-0 US. Three goals for Nico Kjorpes. And just puts that one right against the side netting. Puts it right in that back left corner. It's going to be tough for any keeper to reach, because not only do you have to dive in the right direction, but then you have to go all the way across your goal line and get your hand on it in quick fashion. And it's 7-0 to the US. Meanwhile, at the Olympico Felix Sanchez, 9-0 for Mexico over Guyana. So it seems like 2 emphatic results to start things off in tournament play, in knockout play. 2 teams that are obviously favorites to go all the way to the final. Both handling business as this ball gets cleared away. That's a good step. Ball played right back inside. And make it 3 long-range efforts for the US. An 8-0 lead. Following just after the penalty kick. They were able to break through once here in the second half. And they've done it again moments after. Take a step. Let it fly. Mia Oliaro. Does a couple stutter steps. It says, you know what? I'm just going to take this. An excellent shot. A nice finish. And one of several players that are on this team that are currently members of the North Carolina Courage Academy. And that's just a fantastic organization there in Cary, North Carolina. As we get another substitution. Katia comes out of the game, and coming in her place is Kishana Mathilda. North Carolina Courage, always a quality program in the NWSL, paired up with North Carolina FC in USL League One on the men's side of things. I'm able to be at the Wake Med Soccer Park myself. Wonderful facilities there. So another corner kick for the United States. And the goals are coming in both games. 10-0 for Mexico. Gamero sends it inside. And some pressure from Smizer, wins it back for the United States. Now Villarreal tries to play it across the middle, gets sent back to her, tried to tuck it on the near post and couldn't. Just went wide left. So 2/3 of the way done in this one. It's been a confident affair from the United States throughout. If you're just tuning in, they put their pedal to the metal. And you know, sometimes people use the phrase from the whistle, but I think this is a case where it is a literal use of that phrase. The whistle blew, and about 23 seconds later, the U.S. had scored to make it 1-0 to start things off in this game. And the rest is history from there. Here comes Villarreal. Good step there, knocks it out of her possession by Flanier, captain for Curaçao. So we get a couple more substitutions. So Martinho is out. Hutton comes into the game. King is out. Frazier comes in. And then lastly coming in, Giselle Thompson. There's a threading ball through. Villarreal trying to shrug off the defender. But she did well to jockey her place. Advantage will be played. Gamero working forward, fires a shot, and it's deflected off. She didn't suffer any deflection there. It's just going to be a goal kick. There's the bench for you right there for the U.S. side. Been a happy group, I would imagine, for the most part in this one. recap those 3 substitutions from the U.S. Claire Hutton came in for Lauren Martino. Nicola Frazier came in for Savannah King, and then Giselle Thompson came in for Mia Alario. Oliara. That is where it stands right now. So we're about 65 minutes into this game. Crazy to think about in scope of these 2 teams playing each other right now. It's one back by the U.S. That's a nice back heel. Villarreal, though, an excellent check on that one by one of the substitutes, Merdic for Curaçao. Turning up the dial on that physicality and make sure that it wasn't going to be smooth sailing inside the 18 for Villarreal. Just the sheer comparison of these 2 countries in size, the U.S. to Curaçao, the United States. Nearly 4 million square miles in size. Curaçao, just 171. Beauty of the beautiful game. They're both playing here on the same pitch. You can only field 11 players on at once. Doesn't really matter how big your country is. You could field a squad of players. Just need 11 at the bare minimum. If you want to do the math, the United States is 22,000, over 22,000 times larger in mass as this one. A long-range effort. And it's a second goal for the captain. Maya Buda is letting it fly once again. And it's a 9-0 scoreline for the U.S. Buda, that's the longest one yet. Just put that one top shelf. Asking a lot of that goalkeeper there. Scored her first goal of the tournament earlier today. And now she's got 2, both from outside the 18. I'm sure that's a good surge of confidence in her game going forward. Villarreal comes down with it, tries to chip it inside, but it goes across the goal line and will be out of play. See there, Buda, the one who scored the goal. I mentioned wearing the captain's armband today, which is already an honor for her. And then to add a brace on top of that, I'd say it's been a good day on the grass. Gamero, just attack forward. She gets it right back. Trying a little give and go there between her and Hutton. So I got a couple other matches for you here today. Of course, you've got Mexico and Guyana happening simultaneously as this one is occurring. Mexico up 12-0, by the way, over Guyana. Later tonight, you've got Panama and Puerto Rico. And then here at this venue, Costa Rica will play on Nicaragua. Now the U.S. looking to advance here. Their next game will be on Wednesday, so May 4th. And they'll play at this same time, 4 o'clock Eastern. This one bounces down. It's going to go out for a corner kick. As far as who the U.S. could potentially play next, so we get a look at this replay here of the challenge, the collision. Immediately clutching the knee there. Looks like it was Andrea. Issues earlier in the game, some injuries, and now no coaches talk, but instead just words amongst the players for the U.S. and a chance for them to demonstrate and practice their leadership. As far as who the U.S. could play in the next round, they play the winner of the matchup that takes place tomorrow. It'll be a game that occurs at 7 o'clock, not at this venue, but at the Estadio Olímpico Felix Sanchez. It's a game between Jamaica and Cuba. This one gets chested down, fired right back in, and an excellent finish. It's a double-digit performance on the day for the United States. And that one put away nice and tidy by Gamero. Just rocketing it to the top right corner. Just a lethal finish from her. It's headed away, chests it down, half volley, and just whacks it. That is a menacing shot. That's not perfectly balanced either. So the body control also necessary to pull that one off. Onyeka Gamero. So a second goal for her on the day. Thought she had a brace earlier. That first goal in the opening moments taken away from her in accreditation. And then after everything winds to a close, back to a brace here with about 15 minutes to go. Just a little over 15. The U.S. once again, a challenge. Villarreal tries to go for the shot herself. It's parried away, and before Tiorpes could get her feet on it, it's another finish that she couldn't get her feet on as the defense escorted it away from her. Already sitting on a hat trick today. And as I was saying, the winner of Jamaica and Cuba would be who the U.S. meet, and that'll be tomorrow. Tune into that. See who the potential next opponent could be. Janet going down once again. She touched her knee earlier.
The corner
She's
is
okay.
gonna take the ball on.
Another bad step, and at this point, I think you want to be careful and just preserve her safety, maybe get her out of this game. And another sub. Both of these games, the leading team, double-digit scoring. U.S. here 10-0 and 13-0 for Mexico over Guyana right now. I think at some point in time, two teams winning right now will have to meet. And it will be a clash. Not wearing a captain's armband today, but on the Curaçao side of things, been seeing a lot of talking and leadership from Queen Jelly Alexandra. Of course, can't hear what she's saying. You can kind of read from the body language. She's doing everything she can to rally her teammates. As that floating cross will just float its way across the goal line. Another substitution coming in, so Andrea, after getting hurt, will get subbed out. So 2 substitutions. Quinn Naily, Gertruda will come into the game. And then also Gianella Calvinhoven will also come in. Chipping effort over to the left-hand side. And Amalia Villarreal is able to keep it in play. Here's Gamera, the last goal scorer for the U.S. Now Buda tries to take it herself. It's going to go wide left. Definitely been a rough night, rough afternoon in shot for Curaçao. Again, worth reminding you, first ever appearance in this tournament, and they're going up against the team that has historically been the best in this tournament. So a tough draw for certain for them. Here's one of the substitutes, Giselle Thompson. Now she'll get the chance to throw this one into play. Villarreal decides to take the shot herself, and the high arcing effort was too high arcing. some patient possession here from the U.S. They don't necessarily need to push forward. Again, like I said earlier, you don't want to just force your way through. If you can be delicate about your build-up and get some more of those reps in for when being more direct will be increasingly difficult as the quality of opponent increases. So it'll be about execution now, if it wasn't already. Thompson's cross comes in and it's got too much behind it. He's looking to connect with Cameron Roller. Starting members of the back line today for the U.S. Another one of the high-volume goal scorers for the U.S. so far in this Concacaf U17 tournament. Thompson showing some speed. Plays into the middle. Got a touch, but it wasn't enough to redirect it. Now they go forward again. Villarreal plays it back to Buda. Couple of deflected passes. It finds the feet of one Nicole Frazier, and that finish, though, couldn't put it on the right side of the left post. This one given right back. Here's Villarreal. Lays it off to her right. The shot gets bodied away. Gamero once again pushing forward. But a heavy touch will put this one out of play. Keeping the foot on the gas even though we're in the final 7 minutes of the game. Want to stay tuned in for our second fixture of the match here, or of the day here at the Estadio Panamericano. We've got Costa Rica and Nicaragua coming up next at 7 o'clock. That's a good touch in the middle. A great threading ball through, and tidy as it goes. An 11th goal for the United States, and a 4th for Nico Kyorpes. A little 1-2 punch between her and Amalia Villarreal. She's able to thread the needle through 3 different defenders and find Kyorpes. Look at that right there. Goals keep on coming for the United States. And they've now made it 11-0 over Curaçao. Kyorpes having herself one heck of a day. Plays at NEFC for her club ball. Five minutes through this one. And the United States have been intense for all of it. This is what bounces around a couple of times. The defending is still there. But in the miscommunication, it falls to Kjorpes, and her curling effort goes off the crossbar. Now scuff clearance keeps it in the mixer here. Buda, he thought about shooting. There is a sea of players between her and goal. Maybe not a clear look on target. Switch it. Now Thompson. Villarreal has time to wait and be patient, and opts to play it right back out as this pass gives it to Curaçao. So through 4 games in this tournament, the United States have outscored their opponents 49-0. A lot of words you could use. The first one that comes to my head, ruthless. Absolutely ruthless in each performance. Villarreal maybe looks for goal number 50 here. Let's say another successful day for the United States. A couple of great goals from individual efforts, a couple others from some good slipping passes. Hasn't been a lot of players just taking a player one-on-one, getting by them, and then scoring. So I would say you like to see that if you're a fan of this side. And they have been pretty mature in their handling of this affair. That kind of maturity will be necessary when you go up against a tough opponent. You got to keep your composure in any circumstance. Of course, we haven't really gotten to see this team get challenged yet. So that'll be something down the road. Break into the final minute of this game. It has been all U.S. all the way through, from whistle to whistle and then whistle to whistle. They'll play again on Wednesday, May 4th. They may have one more goal in the pocket. Not to be for Hutton. And we've got another player issue. Not sure if it's an exhaustion problem or if she got hit. Maybe more than just one player. And we're just going to end it here at the final whistle. And your final score, 11-0 in favor of the United States. The two-time reigning champs coming in and looking for a third straight title, beginning their knockout campaign in style with tons of goals from tons of faces. An impressive performance nonetheless. And Curaçao can lock into the books their first ever appearance in this U17 tournament.
Luzmari Flanú, de la Selección Nacional de Curaçao. Luzmari, pues, ¿cuál ha sido tu experiencia en este torneo?
Luzmari, você que conta a experiência dentro do torneio aqui?
Mas passou o duche, nós treinou duro para nós para ganhar aqui. E eu nós não para ganhar para outro dia nós está assim com nós por game mais milhão outro dia.
La pasé muy rico y entrenamos muy duro para llegar donde estamos y esta experiencia es una de las mejores.
¿Qué enseñanza te deja participar en un torneo como este?
¿Qué enseñanza el torneo aquí talaga, papo? La equipo la enseñamos.
Assim, como tenho para duro mental, então como tenho motivar o time para nós tur ganhar, para nós tur ter força, para nós tur uma bala bom.
Aprendí cómo estar mentally stable, estable mental. Y también hay que motivar a los del equipo propio.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Onyeka Gamero of the USA national team. Onyeka, game by game, they look better. Do you feel pressure to be a favorite?
To be a favorite in this tournament, of course, it's a big deal. We kind of feel pressure going into the games, but we know that with this pressure comes the opportunity to prove ourselves, and we feel that with every chance, we're going to take it, and we try to score as many goals as possible and play our hardest, and I think we live up to it when we do that.
What is the key to be a great team?
Being a great team is definitely composure, focus, and playing with each other. Because especially in games where you're up by a lot, you really want to circulate the ball and move it around. And if you don't look to play with your teammates or move it around, you know, that's kind of like the downfall of the team when you don't play together. So playing together is really big.
Thank you, Onyeka, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So a round of 16 matchup between the United States and Curaçao got going, and it only took 23 seconds for the two-time reigning champs to score and find the back of the net. It was Nico Kjorpes who would find the back of the net in this one. A couple players got a whiff on it, and she was the one who got the final touch to make it 1-0 in the opening 30 seconds of this game. And it would just keep going from there for the United States. 4 titles total in this tournament. Have won back-to-back titles, though, back in 2018, the 2020 edition. Of course, didn't happen due to COVID-19. And then you see here the wonderful back heel goal from Kjorpes to make it a brace on the day in the early stages of the matchup. And then they just kept on coming. Third goal. Punched in by Rembimbas. Just poking it in. Excellent squared ball to make it 3-0 early on in this game. Just a showcase to start things early in this one. And then the players decided to start activating their range shots. This one, the first of several in this game that the United States would score. It would be Lauren Martino who would get that category cracked open with this pacey shot that ripped through the gloves of the keeper. And then as this one went on, you saw that challenge for other players to score from long range. And up for the challenge there was Mia Buda, the captain, scoring her first goal of the tournament. And this one, maybe less about how much power was on it and more about the speed and placement behind it. As you see there, just tucked away, no chance for the keeper. Excellent shot, just ripped her laces through it. And then it kept going on. One more goal before the half expired. And it'll be a goal for Onyeka Gamero, which would end up being her first. They attributed her with the first goal to start things off. So this was what looked to be a brace. It wouldn't be a brace officially yet, but she would get a second goal. And we'll see it here in a moment in the second half. We got a couple other goals to get through before we get to that moment. A couple of hefty collisions that resulted in a penalty kick and a sealed hat trick for Nico Kjorpes. She's rolling it home. Don't need to worry about anything crazy when you take a pen. If you could pick a corner, put it there, and give it some speed, then you're going to be in a good place. Of course, that's easier said than done. Now, this is one that you don't need me to say is hard. Just winding up, putting it away. An excellent goal from Oliaro. Just taking a couple of steps and then letting it fly. And then the deep range gets only deeper for Mia Buda. Already had one long-range goal, decided to take it quite a few steps back further. An absolute beauty of a goal. Decided to pick top right corner. And she tucks it right into that shelf. And then here would be the official brace for Gamero. And that is just a lethal finish. Half volley inside the 18. Just rifles it home. Excellent effort from her. Still got one more goal to score. And it would come from the hat trick hero, Kjorpes. The great combination between her and Amalia Villarreal. A threaded pass for the tournament's leading goal scorer, turning provider in this instance, to make it 11-0 for the United States. A combined 49-0 in their 4 games this season in the Concacaf U17 Championship. Just an overall dominant performance here in the round of 16. And the United States moving on to the quarterfinals in this tournament. Let's take a look here at the stats one last time. 33 shots, over half of them put on target, and over half of those shots on target finding the back of the net, and those were just willy-nilly shots on target. I mean, you just saw the highlights. Some magnificent goals to be seen. Just overall dominance from the United States. Impressive, to say the least, from their end of things. They'll have to feel happy with their performance in this one. For 80% of the possession. And you see their rivals, Mexico, also getting business done in a bevy of goals against Guyana. They will be advancing as well. So that pretty much wraps it up here from this broadcast. We've got 2 more games here tonight. If you want to stick around and watch the other game that happens here, it's Nicaragua and Costa Rica coming up next. But for this broadcast, so long. My name is Mark Schoenster, and we'll see you next time around if you're a U.S. fan on Wednesday.